What up, YouTube? This your boy Chris, aka the K Crusader. Here you guys again today with another video. This is my first time ever doing this, so I'm doing this video over my debut video screen capture. So see people sit back and relax and right. And the name of this video today, I'm just gonna give it to you guys today. The name of this video is my top 5 Robins. Of course, you know the different Robins. I'm pretty sure everybody got a different list of takes of who their favorite Robins are. So I don't know whether I should do 5 to 1, 1 to 5. I don't know how I'm going to do this process. So people sit back and relax and enjoy the show and enjoy this video. I might do another video, so I don't know. I won't see how this one goes. So people sit back and relax and enjoy the show. This is my list of the top 5 Robins. So instead of me just doing 5 to 1, I'm gonna do 1 to 5. So let me go down to one of the greatest Robins of all time to me, and I'm pretty sure Blackwing really is going to enjoy this one, because Blackwing really going to enjoy this list. To me, let's go number 1. Tim Drake, Timothy Drake, or Tim Drake, whatever you want to call him, which was the third Robin after Jason Todd died and the death of the family. After Jason Todd got killed by Joker and the death of the family. I like Tim Drake because I kind of grew on Tim Drake. He was one of my favorite Robins, besides Dick Grayson. And I liked Tim Drake because he's one of my favorite Robins, because I love him on New Batman Adventures. I kind of grew up with him. And I think he was cool with both staff. And everybody knows Stephanie Brown was his love interest in the comics. I think she's real cool, and I love Tim Drake because I think that he's one of the coolest Robins out there. I think that because he had to earn it, after the death of Jason, so I feel like that made him so much of a lovable character, because Tim Drake was more of that Robin that you cared about. Tim Drake was the Robin that he had to earn it, and plus Batman during the time he became Batman partner when Batman lost Jason. So for me, in the beginning of it, I think that definitely Tim Drake was one of my favorite Robins. I think that he really stood out from a point, and he really held his own. He proved to people he had to train with Lady Shiva. He had to go through a lot of the hard work. Batman gave Batman tested him and trained them, and Batman, he had to earn Batman trust, and I think that's what I love about it. Now let's go down to my second list. I got my second one. I got 3 more to go. I don't know how the video gonna be long, but I'm gonna sit back. I'm not gonna worry about the time here, people. My second one, Dick Grayson. Of course, Dick Grayson. Richard Dick Grayson, which is Richard Dick Grayson, but people claim known Dick Grayson in the comics. My second favorite Robin is Dick Grayson. Of course, he's Nightwing in the comic. He's currently he's kind of working for Spiral right now as a free agent, but everybody know him as Nightwing. But he was the first Robin. And what I love about Dick Grayson is, of course, it's having his parents getting killed by Tony Zuko for his parents not paying the protection money. Of course, if you grew up watching anime series, you would know that. I love Dick Grayson because I feel like he is, I feel like he's the only. This is how I feel about Dick Grayson. I feel like Dick Grayson is the coolest Robin besides Tim Drake. I think Dick Grayson was the Robin that Dick Grayson was the cool Robin. He was Batman. He was so much cool, and he stood out. He held his own, and it was so much stuff going on with Dick Grayson. I think it's cool, and I think what makes him really more cooler is that he was the first partner to Batman, and Batman saw Dick as that adopted son. And Dick Grayson was kind of like that fun Robin. He was the joy. He was the joy to Batman. While Batman was dark and broody, Dick Grayson was, was kind of fun. He was an acrobat. He come from the Flying Graysons. I mean, what's not to love about, Dick Grayson? I mean, his Robin, and I loved him as Robin. I think that I got the action figure on the wall, actually, and I think that definitely he's one of them Robins. I definitely think he's one of them Robins that he's gonna go down as one of the greatest Robins of all time, besides Tim Drake. I think that Dick Grayson is one of them Batman characters highly loved. People love him. He's very popular, and the people tend to gravitate towards him very well. And I think at the end of the day, I think that definitely Dick Grayson holding his own. I think Dick Grayson is a very cool Robin. I think that he's very cool, and I love him as Nightwing. He's currently Spiral. He kind of secret agent for Spiral right now in the comics, but I think he's definitely cool. And my third. Now it's time for me to go through my third Robin. So I'm getting down to my final 3. So people sit back and relax and enjoy this one. My third Robin I love, and I'm pretty sure she was Robin for too long. Stephanie Brown. I love her I love Louis Robin. I've been reading some of the series when she was Robin, and even though she didn't last long as Batman's sidekick, I love Stephanie Brown as Robin because I felt like she was a different contrast compared to Carrie Kelly, who I was not who I was not a big fan of in the Dark Knight Returns. I was not a fan of Dark Knight Returns, but I did not like Carrie Kelly Robin. I feel like she was just useless. But I think Stephanie Brown Robin, I think she was real cool. I enjoyed her. She had fun stories. And of course, if you want to know about me, Stephanie Brown's one of my favorite Batman. I love spoiling the comics. So I love Stephanie Brown as a character. I love her as Robin, and I feel like her time. I wish she was, for me, because the comics I was reading, I wish that she was in the comics more. I wish. How can I say this? I wish. I wish that she was. I wish that she was in the comics. I wish that she was in the comics, and you know, I definitely wish she was in the comics a lot more. I definitely wish, I definitely wish that she was in the comics, and that she would have been Robin a lot more longer. I think that she would have been one of the top 5 greatest Robins of all time. But she's in my top 5, so for me it's cool. Let me see. Now it's time to get to my 4th one, and this one, I don't know. People are just gonna hate this one, but Jason Todd. I like Jason Todd. He's my favorite Robin. He's my 4th one. He ain't my favorite, but I think he's better than Damian Wayne. I'm not a fan of his Robin. I think Damian Wayne's a spoiled brat. But I like Jason Todd because I feel like Jason Todd is that character who is kind of complex, and he's an anti-hero. He kills. Batman doesn't, but Jason Todd kills, and he has a different version of justice, and I feel like during the time when Jason Todd first came out, I think a lot of people was on the fence about this character. They wanted him dead. They kind of hated him. They was Jason Todd's a spoiled brat, and he this and that, and people wanted to kill him off now. But I think Jason Todd, I love him as Red Hood, and everybody know he's Jason Todd Red Hood. He was the Arkham Knight in the Arkham Knight game. But I think Jason Todd was one of them Robins that it's like damn if you do, damn if you don't with the characters. Like Jason Todd was one of them characters that stood out during the test of time, and a lot of people have been saying, oh man, wow, this is cool, that this character is doing good. And I gotta say, I think Jason Todd really was one of them characters that, when he first came out, he was kind of like Damian Wayne, and people wanted to kill him off, and he came back, and he became loved as Red Hood, and plus I love him as Red Hood. I love Red Hood. I think that's a real dope character. I mean, his comics is terrible though. His Red Hood and Outlaws. Don't get me started in them series because that shit was god awful. But Red Hood and Outlaws, I hated that comic. It was god awful. It was strictly terrible. I hated it. But one thing I truly will say in the beginning of it, one thing I truly will say about Jason Todd, I just think that he's a redeemable character. I think he could be salvageable. I think he's better than Damian Wayne. But I just think that despite Jason Red Hood comics being god awful, like his comics being god awful, Red Hood and Outlaws, and don't get me started on that series because I'll be here talking all day about that series and how much I hate it. But for me, I think one thing I hate, I like Jason Todd. I think that he is different from the other Robins. He's not a Dick Grayson. He's not a Tim Drake. He's not Stephanie Brown. He's not Helen Wayne. He is different. He's not Damian Wayne. He people consider him more like a Damian Wayne because he's a spoiled brat. But I think Jason Todd was a real cool character, and I'm glad to see him back doing his own thing, and I hope his comics gets a lot better because he's like my 4th favorite Robin. And of course, now she wasn't Robin for too long, so I'm just going to explain it minstrel because I haven't read too many stories about her as Robin. But I think she was Earth 2. I think when she was Helen Wayne, one of my fifth best Robin of all time. No, it's not Carrie Kelly. It's Helen Wayne, or I think they changed around. She's the daughter of a mob boss, Helen Bernetti. I know people think, well, Helen Wayne, Helen Bernetti is differently. Helen Wayne, from Earth 2, she was Robin for a brief moment, and I really enjoyed her as Robin. I didn't read too many comics based on her story. I didn't read too much comics based on her life and based on what she was going through and based on her life period. But I gotta say, one thing I truly must say is that I think Helen Wayne is one of them Robins that was very underrated. I think that I read a couple of comics. I didn't read that much on her, so I can't really say, what's the best storyline she had. But I think she was my fifth best Robin. I know a lot of people thinking, well, why did you not mention Damian Wayne and Carrie Kelly? My least favorite Robins. I'm not a Damian Wayne fan. Would never be one. I'm not saying I just can't relate to Damian. I think that he's a spoiled brat. But YouTube, this your boy Chris, aka the K Crusader, aka the K Crusader. We got a podcast. Before this video in, people, we got this podcast that's set this Friday. It will be on Skype. So if you got Skype people, leave a comment, leave your Skype, go in the comment section below, leave your Skype name. I would like to add you to the podcast. And I would love to add you guys to the podcast, because we're going to podcast with Black Wing Text and everything else. But it's your boy Chris, aka the K Crusader. I'm out. Love you.